Hey guys, and welcome to my very first Legion TD2 guide. In this guide I'm going to show you a very basic and beginner-friendly build for Forsaken that you can use to start up the game. And yeah, it's going to be pretty easy. You just do what I tell you for each wave, and whenever you have some spare gold, you're going to push workers. So I'm not going to tell you how many workers you need each wave, because that kind of varies depending on how the game is paced, like if there is leaks on the opposing side or your side, like whether or not you get feed. Because every time someone leaks, you do not also only get extra gold if you hold it or if the enemy team is leaking, but you also get extra time. And time is money in this game, because you're harvesting mythium every 10 seconds with your workers. So the more workers you have, the more mythium you get. And obviously, the more time you have, the more mythium you have, the more mercenaries you can send, the more income you have, the more gold you have. So yeah, in some games you might be having like 10 workers at wave 7, and then there's going to be games where you have 15 or even like 6. It really depends. So I'm just going to show you what kind of towers you need for each wave. And with the workers, you just need to figure it out yourself. The build that I'm going to show you is actually quite overbuild. Like it's going to be more than necessary at some points, just because I want you to be safe. Like I think for the start, it's actually good when you're just aiming on trying to hold as good as possible. You don't necessarily need to optimize as much already. You just need to make sure that you're holding your waves, and then once you get a feeling for the game, and especially a feeling for your opponent, because that's actually the most deciding factor, your opponent. Like, for example, if your opponent just keeps on sending you like shit like snails, lizard, and fiend every single round, well, you're gonna have a very easy time and you're not going to be in trouble. But if your opponent actually notices your weakness and anticipates what you're going to do for the next like couple waves, and then finds a weak spot and is like, okay, I'm not going to send him for like 2 rounds now, and then I'm going to send him multiple brutes or like a mole or pack leader or whatever when he's weak. Well, then shit gets tricky, but that's not something that is going to happen in lower elo. In lower elo, you can expect some random saves. Like sometimes people would just be like, yeah, wave 4 kind of worked well for me last game, so I'm just gonna do it again. It's the same as you know from other games. Like if you know League of Legends, um, sometimes bad players will be like, oh, well, this guy crushed me last game with like Katarina in mid lane. She must be pretty damn good. So next game he goes ahead and plays Katarina, and then he fails miserably. Because it was, yeah, it was about the situation and not about the champion. So it's the same here. But people will do what has worked for them previously. So in lower elos, the worst you can expect is like random skips. Random skips. Skipping is when someone does not send you on one wave. So if I skip 3, for example, that means I do not send you anything on 3, and then I will send you even more on wave 4, because I expect you to be weak there. But as I said, in lower elo, those skips are more or less going to be very random and not optimized against your build. They will probably not send the right mercenaries. So you should be fine with just building the same thing over and over and over again and not worry too much about your opponent. And this is what this build is going to be aimed at. It's going to be aimed at new players that have no idea about the game, and yeah, just something that they can use as a basis to improve on. So once you get a feeling for it, you can start to optimize the build yourself. You can try to hold with less value than I suggest you, and you will find out that, yeah, it is actually possible. Like on some waves, you'll be holding with way less than what I suggest you. But that's because yeah, as I said, I kind of want you to be a little bit more safe at the start, and then you can try to figure out your limits on your own. So yeah, now that I've said all of this, let's just go right into it. So you're going to start with a Nightmare, which is going to be your main DPS throughout the game, and then later on the Doppelganger, which is the upgrade of the Nightmare. But this whole build basically resolves around the Nightmare. You want to protect your Nightmare. This is your damage. Everything else that you're going to build, it's more or less just delay and tankiness, and this is like your big source of damage. So this is why we're going to place it at the wall. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 up here, and this is where we place the Nightmare. This guy is actually holding wave 1 and 2 alone, so you don't need to build anything else for wave 2 and nothing for wave 1 either, obviously. So we're going to go right into wave 3. So for wave 3, what you want to be doing is you take a Gargoyle and High Lissy. Yeah, You're kind of distracting me. God damn it. Hold on. Yeah, stream habits, you know, like my cat. Hey. Yeah, you want to be the center of attention, right? Okay, so we take the gargoyle and we go like one diagonal from here, and then we go one up. This is where we place it. Then we go all the way to the right, like on one line, same height, and we place it right here. So we are splitting the wave so that some of the wave goes to the right side and some of the wave goes to the left side. And yeah, so with this, we're actually holding up to a brood, which is the hardest thing that you can get on wave 3, most likely. So even if your opponent did not send you anything on wave 2 and 3 and sends a brood on 1 and 2, and then sends you a brood on 3, you should be fine with this build. I decided to do this because I think brood on wave 3 is actually the most common thing in lower elo. This is actually something that they kind of do pretty much every single time. So I decided to go with the build that is safe against that. As you can see, it's holding quite well. So here, on wave 4, what you want to be doing is you take another gargoyle and you place it right here. And you take a Bone Warrior, your tier 1, and you place it here. And that should once again hold a brood very easily. Oh, it's very exciting, huh, Odyssey? Yeah? You want to play it too, huh? Can't play with you right now, I'm doing a video. Okay. So yeah, this time the brood actually slowed the Nightmare, which is very unlucky, but it should still be holding. Let's see, now it's starting to fully brood. Yeah, it's pretty close, but as you can see, it's very capable of holding. And yeah, usually it's not that close. That was just because the brood immediately went onto the Nightmare, which is not something that usually happens. So for wave 5, what you want to be doing is you do a Bone Crusher, and then you should be pretty fine against another brood. The Bone Crusher is fortified armor, and wave 5 is Pierce, so it actually does a very good job of tanking. Does the brood go on? Brood goes on Nightmare, I guess. No. Oh, okay, no. Okay, so it went on a Gargoyle and then on the Bone Crusher. That's very lucky, actually. Like, most of the time it will go on the Bone Crusher, in which case you are very fine. Sometimes it might go on the Nightmare first, and then you can actually leak if you're very unlucky, but that's very rare. And let's see, you know that you're kind of blocking my side. You're cute though, so it's good. Okay, so for wave 6, you want to be taking a Butcher, which is your lifesteal aura. It buffs all the units that it directly touches with a buff that's called Leech, which grants 5 life on hit and 10% lifesteal. So yeah, whenever Nightmare attacks, which is quite often because it attacks very, very fast, gets 5 health and 10% of the damage that he deals. So that's, yeah, quite a bit. 6.1, whatever. So yeah. God damn it. Wave already started. Very professional. So yeah, this is even holding. Like, I think this should even hold up to 100. Like, this is very, very safe, actually. On wave 6, it's very, very unlikely that you're leaking with this. Like, even if your opponent saved up to wave 6 and sends you like 100 or even 120, I think, you should be very, very fine. Just because of the Nightmare and the Butcher being so insanely strong here. Because this wave does impact damage, and the Nightmare has swift armor, so it takes reduced damage from impact. And the wave itself actually does not deal that much damage, so that the lifesteal is very, very effective. And the Butcher also does impact damage, which is very good against the fortified of the Rockos, so you're very, very safe here. Yeah, like this guy could easily take up 3 Rockos by himself now. It's because of how much lifesteal he gets, as you can see. It's insane. So on wave 7, what you want to be doing is you take this and upgrade it to a Green Devil, which is a very good arcane tank. And wave 7 and 8 are both magic damage waves, so you want some arcane to tank up for that. And here you can easily hold 2 brutes with that. So if you do not get Ascend, one thing that you could optimize, for example, is that you do not build the Green Devil. Like, you can very well hold with just 3 Gargoyles, the Nightmare, Bone Crusher, and the Butcher. But if you do get some brutes here, then yeah, you might end up leaking. And as I said, I don't want you to leak, I want you to be safe. So yeah, The lifesteal is also doing lots of work with the Green Devil, because it actually takes 50% reduced damage and has a low HP pool to make up for that. But that means that lifesteal is actually way more, yeah, way better on him, because the lifesteal is obviously not reduced. So yeah, it's very, very, very effective. As you can see, that was pretty overbuild actually. So for wave 8, what you want to be doing is you take your gate guard and you place it behind your Bone Crusher. And that should even hold, like, I think it could even hold 2 dinos. I did not test that, but I think that can even hold 2 dinos. And 2 dinos is like, yeah, it's very unlikely that you get 2 dinos on wave 8, actually. So this is again something that you can optimize on if once you feel confident. Like, for example, if you get just tiny send, you know that you can easily hold with just the Nightmare, Green Devil, 2 Gargoyles, Butcher, and the Bone Crusher. You do not actually need the gate card. But yeah, as you can see, 2 dinos is actually pretty hard send. Like 160 is actually pretty hard, so you are going to leak here. If you want to be super safe for wave 8, like if you expect a very, very big send, you do not do the Green Devil gate guard, but instead you do like a second Green Devil, and then you can even hold like, wait, let's go onto wave 8 again. You can hold like, wait, is good, I need to reset the timer. Like, I don't know. Yeah, that's like a pretty big send actually. Like that's a like 2-round save with pretty decent workers. So, but yeah, with 2 Green Devils you're very, very good here. They just tank up so much, insane. Yeah, as you can see, they barely take any damage, and they lifesteal back up a lot. So this is what you want to do if you want to be extra safe. But yeah, it's very not necessary most of the time. Wow, this is very unlucky actually. Bone Crusher is not tanking. God fucking damn it. Why does it always have to happen like this when you're showing off something? Oh, well, just trust me on this one. It's actually holding quite decently. Like, yeah. And you're not gonna get such a send. So let's get back to the build that I suggest, which is the gate guard. Okay, that's what you have for wave 8. So for wave 9, you go ahead and place some more gate guards. So you want to be at around 1k value here, and then you should be very safe against, like, I think 2 roots should actually be holdable. With that, again, if you expect more, you can just add another gate guard. Like pretty much whenever you want to overbuild, like when you're afraid of a wave, when your opponent has been saving multiple turns, what you can do when following this guide is that you just take the next step. So, for example, if you are like very afraid of wave 9, you can just add some more gate guards, which you need for wave 10 anyway. So you just basically build what you need for the next wave, and then you're fine. But as you can see here, 1k value easily holding double brute, no problem. So we're going right into wave 10, which is it's kind of the hardest wave for you as Forsaken, just because of how RNG it can be. It's the first boss wave, and it really depends on who gets attacked first. So what you want to be doing is you get more gate guards, as you can see here. So you have this circle build up, because later on you want another Butcher in there, so that all those get the lifesteal aura. And then you want to be placing 2 Bone Warriors in front of your Gargoyle. Gargoyle and Green Devil, because the Green Devil actually wants to be protected here. It's your main source of damage. Wait, I'm going to explain you soon. Because it has this debuff called Lacerate, which attacks a stacking debuff, which increases the damage taken by the creature by 2, and it stacks up to 9 times. So on max stacks, this is like 18 extra damage, which means that the attack damage of a Bone Warrior, for example, gets tripled, which is insane. So you do not want it to die immediately, which is why we have those 2 Bone Warriors. And by the time they are dead, and the Green Devil is dead, the boss should be at like 50 to 60% HP. So yeah, you already got lots of bursts out. The gate guards also summon a Hound, so they are basically 2 units. And obviously, the more units you have, the stronger this gets. So this is your trick for wave 10, kind of. So this can even hold. I really hope it does. This one I actually tested. Like 3 brutes is kind of a mean send on 10, so you should be fine with that. Like if you're holding this, yeah, you're good. But yeah, on lower elos, it's very unlikely you're getting sent like that. So most likely you should be holding the boss quite easily. This time the Green Devil actually survived. So yeah, that's a very easy hold. Just because of the Green Devil surviving, because it adds so much damage. Like alone, it's peaking between 4 and 5 stacks, but that's already lots of damage. Wait. Oh, come on, don't make me laugh. God damn it. Okay, so you leaked the Brutes. Wait, why did it leak the Brutes though, with the Green Devil being such a late target? I swear to you guys, I tested this like 10 times. I was holding. God, okay, wait, just for showing you that I'm not a liar. Lissy, you're blocking again. I am going to do this again against 3 Brutes. And it should be holding quite well. But yeah, as I said, 3 Brutes is a pretty mean send, so against normal sends, you're gonna hold every single time. That's very interesting, actually, that the Green Devil does not get killed. Like, not seen that before. Like in my testing, the Green Devil was always like the 3rd target. But it's very random right now. But why is it like that? This is so weird. Wait, this is so weird. I did it exactly as I did in testing. God fucking damn it. Now this is the moment where I would really like to have an editing tool so that I could just redo this part of the guide. Wait, why does it leak? I don't get it. This is supposed to die 3rd. I think most of the time it will. This is so fucking weird. This is so weird. Now it died before the Nightmare. Yeah, 10 is very random. That's what I said. That's why it's such a hard wave for Forsaken. Sometimes you'll be holding very easily, sometimes you'll be leaking. Never really liked the design of 10 for that reason, but yeah, as you can see, this time, yeah. And trust me on that one, most of the time you will be holding. Like, I know now it has been 2 out of 3, 1 out of 3 being a hold, but in testing it was way more than that, so you should be fine. Okay. So for wave 11, you want to upgrade the Butcher into a Head Chef, and you still want to keep those 2. Later on, you're going to sell them though. So this should even hold like up to 200 pretty easily, unless you're very, very unlucky. It can always happen. Like in Legion, always there is always that 1% chance that you're leaking when you're not supposed to leak. That's just part of the game, I guess. Like, yeah, sometimes you have bad draw RNG in Hearthstone as well, or when you're playing poker. Well, you can lose a hand where you have like 99% chance to win. It's still possible. So same in Legion. I've seen all kinds of things, but most of the time you're going to be fine. This Head Chef is actually very powerful here. It's throwing out lots of heals, as you can see. This heal is healing for 300 plus 10% of the maximum health of the unit for 2 seconds. So it's quite a big heal actually. Yeah, as you see. Very easy hold, 1.6k value, no problem. So going into wave 12, what you want to be doing is you sell those. That's very important because it messes with your split. And you want to upgrade this into a Doppelganger. And in best case, you actually want a Dark Mage, which is going to buff your Doppelganger with 50% attack speed for yeah, and movement speed, but that's not really important. 50% attack speed because your Doppelganger actually stacks up damage. So every time this Doppelganger attacks, here it is. So every time he attacks, he gets 1 damage, like 1 extra damage permanently. So yeah, after like 10 attacks, he has 98 damage, which is insane. So the longer this survives, the better it is. So that's what I told you guys about. Like, this is your carry. This is your carry. All of this is just to delay. Like, all of this is just to delay and let the Doppelgangers stack up. Like, later on in the game, you'll be having 2 Doppelgangers, and those 2 Doppelgangers, like, once they are stacked up, they pretty much solo the entire wave. Like, you're gonna be insanely strong. Like, if you go to mid, like, if your teammate is leaking and you're clearing, and you're here defending, and you have some stacked up Doppelgangers there, they're going to crush the leaks. That it's no problem, really no problem. And this is where this build shines at. So yeah, this should be holding a pack mold pretty easily. Oh wait, I forgot to actually do the Night Dark Mage. Yeah. Oh no, that cleared too fast. Okay. So now you do the Dark Mage. Pack mold. With 12 is another kind of RNG wave for this kind of build because it's a Swarm wave and it always depends on how much runs into the split and what runs into the split. For example, if the pack leader runs into the split, you have a much easier time. It also depends on how much damage the doppelganger takes early, because you want it to tank some, but not too much, so that it can actually make use of the lifesteal. Like if it just sits on full HP like now, this is wasted. This is wasted. You don't want that to happen. But yeah, as you can see, quite an easy hold most of the time. Sometimes you will be leaking though, but that's very unlikely. With that value, you should be very fine on 12. So for wave 13, what you want to be doing is you take a Butcher and place it here so that this guy now has both auras, because Butcher and Hashef, the lifesteal auras, are actually two different auras. This is Cannibalism and this is Leech. So he now has both. He has Cannibalism and Leech, thus he has even more lifesteal. And those auras, like buffs now, will be on the Doppelganger, even though, even if the Headchef and Butcher dies. So this is, yeah, just buffing it up even more. And then you have the Dark Mage to buff it up. So yeah, as I said before, this is your carry. Like everything around this build is centered around Doppelganger. This is your most important unit. So you do the Butcher and then you build another Nightmare right here so that it also gets both auras. That's why we left the spot right there. And yeah, then you should be fine against, like, I don't know, Mimic the Brutes. Wait, should be okay. So obviously in mid game it's kind of hard. Like sometimes people will start up saving in the mid game. Like even in lower elo people will start saving. So obviously if your opponent saves, you'll want way more value. You'll want way more. If your opponent saves, just stop making workers and build as much as you can. Oh, the Doppelganger actually got kind of low. Holy shit, that was very bad RNG. Oh, come on, don't die. Don't die. Don't die. Okay. Holy shit, okay, so what happened was that pretty much half the wave went onto the Doppelganger and both the Brutes went onto it. So the attack speed got slowed from the Brutes. That meant it had less lifesteal. But yeah, in the end that was actually good, because it did not end up dying. So the more it tanks without dying, the better it actually is. So for wave 14, what you want to be doing is you upgrade this into a Green Devil. And then you build another Green Devil right here. And you have 2.6k value. That should even hold a Centaur, I think. I don't know, I didn't really test it, but that should be fine. As long as your doppelganger doesn't die, you're good. It's like the most important thing. Always watch your doppelganger and just rant about it whenever it gets focused out. So yeah, the units going into the split now go into the Hatchef and Butcher, which is very good. Because as I said, the buff will remain intact even though the unit died. So here you can see Doppelganger already got quite a bit of damage and is still life-stealing. Wait, this is actually very slow leak. But yeah, as I said, like if you expect bigger sends, well, you need more value. This is like the minimum of value. This is the recommend value actually. So yeah, the fact that you only leak 2 creeps here with a Centaur is actually very good. Most of the time you will probably even hold that Centaur. Anyway, going into wave 15, what you want to be doing is you upgrade this into another Doppelganger. And then you can even build some extra Gargoyle here. Or you can, and you want to get another Dark Mage. So yeah, here like this. And then, I don't know, send a Shaman. Shaman is not really the best send that you can make against Forsaken, but I guess that's something that low elo guys will send, so it's good to see if that holds. So yeah, the boss just spawns in front, the mini boss, and together with the green devils and the 2 doppelgangers, that just gets shredded to pieces. So I think 2 green devils is all you need to have a maximum stack of this debuff that we're talking about earlier. So the doppelgangers will actually melt through the boss. Yeah, a very easy hold, no problem. Actually. God fucking damn it, come on. Come on. No, wait, I'm actually leaking. Oh, come on. Wait, no. No, not like this. Not like this. Okay, okay. That I'm going to have to take another look at. Should be fine though. I don't know. I just say it, that was unlucky. That was unlucky. Yeah, so it has max stacks as you can see, so it dies pretty quickly. Okay. Yeah, it always depends on how long your doppelgangers survive. Wait, here, Dark Mage was actually healed. It's not too bad. Wait. No, the doppelganger was out of range. Okay, but as you can see, it's holding. So yeah, with Forsaken, it's always kind of random. Like there are some random elements when you're not overbuilding. Yeah, then you can either hold pretty easily. Like, I mean, doppelganger full HP. That's what I call easy, I guess. But yeah, sometimes you can have better RNG and you're leaking. This is because your build is resolved around 2 hyper carries at this point. So if one of those gets focused out early, you're obviously going to have a bad time because this is your main damage. Like all of those, well, heck, they are not doing much damage. Like this is your damage. So yeah, the later they die, the better. So for wave 16, for wave 16, you want to be starting to make some gate guards like that, and you can place a butcher in here, and then you should easily be holding, like, I don't know if that holds, but let's see. Might even hold actually. On 16, again, it's a swarm wave. Swarm waves are always like how much goes onto the split. This time it's not as much, but as long as the brutes don't attack a doppelganger, you should be fine. Like with brute, it's always a little bit RNG too. When the brute goes onto doppelganger, you can be fucked, but doppelgangers are actually lifestealing like a monster here, so most of the time you should not have any issues. Let's see. Yeah, like this one is being fucked by the brute. Yeah, okay. You're actually leaking, but that was a 400 cent. It's not too shabby actually. Okay, let's try this again though. I think that can actually hold. Pack, mole, and 2 brutes. Alright, let's see this again. Okay, this time brute went into the split. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, this time the doppelgangers also take some damage, which is very good. Like last time, doppelgangers did not take any damage. Yeah, see. That's the kind of RNG I was talking about in Swarm Waves. Like now it's a very easy hold, as you can see. Very easy hold. That's kind of the issue with this build, but to make up for that, it has insane carry potential. Like those 2 doppelgangers going to mid together when the wave approaches like 1 by 1, if your opponent, if your enemy teammate like 10 creeps or so, those 2 are going to murder that. Like they're easily holding 10 leaks, no problem. So for 17, you want to be getting this head chef, and then you want to be getting as many gate harbingers as possible. So something like that. And let's see if you can hold a centaur. And pack leader is probably kind of hard, but we can try. We can try. Probably against such a sand, you want to be getting a little bit more into the split. Let's see. So split looking kind of good. Oh no, one doppelganger got sniped out. Okay, that's very bad. Wait, where's my second one? There. Second one is still alive. But yeah, one getting sniped out is kind of bad. It's like half your damage gone, pretty much. Or at least it feels like that. But yeah, as you can see, this is holding quite well. And in late, yeah, just orientate a bit about the around the recommended values. Like this was an overbuild. 17 is actually one of your weakest waves in late game. So yeah, that's quite good that it holds a pack and mole. So for 18, what you want to be doing is that you want to start building some Hades, like the upgraded Lord of Death. How much value is recommended? I don't even know. Like in late game, it really depends on how much Mythium the enemy can send and shit. Like how much value you need. But that's something you'll get a feeling about. But generally, what you want to be doing for 18 is like get some Hades, and yeah, if you're expecting a big send, probably even get some more. But well, actually, might actually be good to. No, this is where we wanted third. Never mind. It's all good. So here we want the hottest, and let's see, Shaman Mole. I don't know. Maybe one brute. That's kind of a rough stand already, but let's see. Should be fine. Really depends though. Like as long as that brute is not a sniperino and goes for one of the doppels, you should be okay. Yeah, no problem. Like here you're pretty strong. You are pretty damn strong here. It's hardest just keep summoning some imps. There you go. Yeah. Like those kind of dudes. They're cool. I like them. Alright. So yeah, as you can see, your doppelganger is still doing the work. As long as they are alive, got your damage. And yeah, the longer the fight gets, the stronger doppelgangers become. Because they get more damage, and obviously also more lifesteal. So at some point they will pretty much be invincible. Okay, so heading into wave 19. What you want to be doing is you get a lot of LODs, and now you can actually use this spot. I was not using this spot before because the Lord of Death would actually spawn his dragon like there, and that would mess with the split. So yeah, but here wave 19 is a range wave, so it does not matter too much anymore. You want to be building a LOD there, you might even get a Hades. And yeah, it's like that's bare recommended value, but I don't know, let's see what this does against like I don't know, Ghost Knight, 2 Dinos, 2 Snails. Should not be doing too bad actually. Here it really depends though on how hardcore your doppelgangers get sniped, because it's a ranged wave, so everything can happen. You do have a lot of units, but you know, sometimes RNG is a bitch and your doppelgangers just die instantly. At least that's what happens when I play Forsaken, so there you go. First doppelganger is dying. Second one still untouched. Yeah, very easy hold actually. With 2 Hades, it's kind of hard to leak here. Kind of hard. How much was that? 440. I guess that's about the average that you get in low elo, right? I don't even know, but as I said, if you get more, then just build more. Pretty simple. So for wave 20, you're pretty much invincible here. I don't know, it's very hard to leak 20. What you want to be doing, preparing for 21 though, is that you want to be getting lots of Lord of Death. You do not want to upgrade them into Hades. Just want as many LODs as you can afford. Obviously, going into wave 21 soon, you do not want to get any workers anyway. Like after like 17 or maybe 18 sometimes if the wave game is slow, you do not want to get workers there. Like at wave 19, 20, you do not want to get workers. So you just put all you have into as many towers as you can afford. I think this is a pretty decent margin considering this is recommended value. Let's see how this does against a Shaman, shall we? Shaman is pretty strong send. on 20 because it buffs up the boss. So let's see how this goes. Again, here, the green devils are actually very important. Okay, so all your green devils are dead. But where's the... There's still some doppelgangers alive. I can't even tell. No, they're all dead. But should still be fine, I guess. Because the Hades are actually spawning lots of creeps, so... It's the same as with wave 10. I mean, it's a boss wave, it's just one dude. So the more little shits you have, the better it is. And those imps, they do not tank as much. But, well, quantity is better than quality at this point. So for wave 21, you want to be getting even more LODs. What is the recommended value on that? Okay, let's see. And you want to be getting another head shift. Because those are actually very, very powerful. Like the heal that they throw out can be very, very precious. So, but yeah, wave 21, I'm not gonna lie to you, wave 21 is where Forsaken falls off massively. Like, Forsaken is insanely fucking bad on 21. This is by far the worst shit for Forsaken. If your game goes to 21 with Forsaken, prepare to lose. Yeah, unless your enemy has someone who's equally as bad on 21, you're gonna have a hard time. This is because the wave actually has splash attack. So, or rather cleave attack, and your build is resolving around like summoning shit. So you're summoning lots of small dudes, and they obviously die to the cleave. So which makes you very, very bad on 21. Which is why we started building Lords of Death though, because those dragons, and that's why I also placed them a little bit behind, were not in the initial cleave. So you actually have some damage right there then, and the LODs are also range damage dealers. So as you can see, that's actually even held against the Shaman on wave 21-1. Very impressed. I did not see that coming. I actually thought it would leak quite badly. But I'm pretty sure you cannot hold 21-2 with that. So yeah, holding 21 is Forsaken really hard. Better try to work around your power spikes and end the game before that. Forsaken actually has some points where it can push insanely hard. Like on wave 14, for example, Forsaken can be super strong. Some tips that I can give you is like, if you want to be very safe on wave 14, for example, you do not do the route that I told you, but instead you try to get 2 doppelgangers out for 14, which is very strong, and you want like 2 to 3 green devils as well. But if you have two doppelgangers for wave 14, you're almost unleakable, like very, very, very hard to leak you. As with wave 15, on wave 15, I suggested you to get 2 doppelgangers. Just because that translates better into like wave 16 and 17. But for 15, it would actually be very, very good if you got a Lord of Death. So if you're afraid of wave 15, like if your opponent is saving a bunch and yeah, you're afraid you're going to die there, then you can get some Lord of Death out, or even a Hades. If you get a Hades for 15, you're going to be very safe, because the dragon that the Lord of Death spawns actually has arcane armor, so it's good on 15, and it does magic damage, which is also good on 15. And the imps, while they do pierce damage, they also have arcane armor, so they are also good tanks. And yeah, same with wave 18. If you're afraid of wave 18, you want to get less harbingers for wave 17, but instead try to get some Lord of Deaths out already, because the more Lords of Death and Hades you have for wave 18, the better. So that's something that just depends on the individual game. But as I said, this is going to be a build that you can just do every game, and it's mostly centered about your opponent income standing. So yeah, I expect like when new players come to the game, like from what I saw on Twitch, when streamers came to the game and picked it up and played the first games, they would just income stand. They will not, like, they will be like this. They will be like this, watching their fight. And they don't have any idea what's going on over here or here, and they would just be like, yeah, this is my lane, this is my game, and I'm just going to send some shit, and I'm not going to watch. But yeah, as soon as the game is like this, and every single time the day starts, you're looking over and being like, okay, he built that, okay, he might have that many workers, and yeah, he might build that for the next round, so that would make him weak there, and then I could be sending this, and yeah, you know, like once people start to play against you, like not just play their own game, which is what you do at the start, and that's not a bad thing. Don't get me wrong, it's a good thing, because the game is quite overwhelming at first. Like when you're starting to pick up the game, it's very hard, which is why I think it's a good idea to just have a guide that you can just follow step by step and not be worried too much about all the other shit that's going on. So this is why I made this, and I hope that it's like helpful to you. And yeah, I'm actually going to make some more guides, like for growth, element, and mech. But yeah, considering it took me so long to make this second guide already, might be taking some more days to make those. And then I'm probably also going to do some sending guides and shit like that, like some basic strategies, like what mercenary is good on which wave, and when they should be used and stuff like that. And yeah, but let's see. I'm going to make some more beginner friendly guides though. I might actually be doing some pro guides later on too, but for now I'm going to focus on beginner guides because I think it's very important to help new players get into the game and just have fun in it. That's the most important thing. Like when you're new to the game, just try to have as much fun as possible. If you do not want to follow any guides, well, feel free to try shit out. If you league, if you lose many games, it does not matter as long as you have fun. That's the most important thing. Yeah. So just go out there and play some games. Okay? But yeah, if you do want to improve and if you do want to follow a guide, that's fine too. Like there's no shame in just copying someone else's build and just doing it, and then yeah, just figure out how to improve on it. As I said, this is not optimized by any means. Like when I play Forsaken, or when I played Forsaken, I used to just, I don't know, my builds always looked differently based on the pace of the game because I knew exactly what I needed for each wave and against which stand. And there's some more tricks that you can learn to wave manipulation and shit like that. Like sometimes it's actually good to build more units into the split. I did not really do that in this guide, but sometimes you even want to place like insane amount of value onto the split. It really depends on for what you're preparing against. And that's something that you will learn with the time. But for now, just focus on like trying to get as many works as you can without leaking. That's the thing that you should aim on when you're new to the game. Okay, and everything else that just comes with time. So thank you guys for watching, and as I said, I really hope you liked it. And I'm sorry for it being so unprofessional. This is my very first video guide, and I do not have any editing tools, so I just recorded it on the fly, and I have no chance to edit it, so I'm just going to upload the raw video, and I cannot cut any bullshit that I said or unnecessary things. I'm going to try to improve on that in the future, but for now I just want to get those guides out as soon as possible, because I think it's very important that we have some guides, because right now there is kind of no guides to this game, so it's very hard for new players to actually get involved. And considering we are going to get a big marketing push very soon, I think it's a very, very good idea to have some beginner guides. So yeah. Thank you. And bye-bye, guys.